I'm saying? Now, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, let me just make sure I got that right. To be honest, he probably should have took a medical and went back to college. He grows up, he found that, and he was great at it, better than a lot of his peers his age. I'm finally better than y'all or something. And he's feeling the love. And put your team down in the comments, and I'll try to put them in there, especially the people who support the thing. And it's the conundrum that they're telling you that your brand means more than the hard work. Why in the world would you ever say something like that? All you gotta do is just pay attention to what's going on. Yo, all you gotta do is just pay attention to what's going on. What's up, y'all? What's going on, y'all? Y'all know what time it is. It's Truckin Chubby. Got my man DP here on the side with me. You know what I'm saying? We about to get up into it, man. Oh, man. My bad said, look, he say, look, it's been a while, you know what I'm saying, since I actually picked on you about your Colorado Buffaloes. So I got some questions I need to ask you about Colorado Buffaloes. And I said, oh, for sure. I said, that ain't no thing. What's up, Juan? What's going on? I said, that ain't no thing.
What to do, Juan?
I don't have a problem with it. I just don't. You know what I mean? Now I had to turn that up real quick, make sure that my mic was good and all of that. But I was like, I don't have a problem with it though. But I guess since since you wanted to, come up and mess with me about the Colorado Buffaloes, I guess I'll let you go ahead and I'll let you kick things off, my guy.
Oh, man. Honestly, not only you, man. I seen another guy say that they feel like Colorado might win a few games. Then I heard Coach Pro, he said his hot take. I think that was his hot take when he said Colorado might win 8 games or whatnot.
Uh-huh.
But I don't understand what y'all seeing, man. I see you got a few skilled players out of the portal. See you got, a few defensive players, but I can't trust it, man. I got to go from what I've been seeing recently, man. I got to go to what I know Coach Prime known to do, man, and that's not protect the quarterback, man, and not run the ball, man, and not stop the run, man. I don't see why y'all so confident otherwise. Like, you got to let me know, like, besides the go offense that you've been telling me, why you so confident. I need me some offensive lineman or something you confident in, or some D lineman or something. I don't know, man. You got to fill me in. What am I missing out on?
I feel like that's what you're not looking into, because you said besides the go offense and the offensive line, the go offense is built a certain way. The go offense is built to maximize the potential that you get out of a lot of those positions, from the beginning. So I feel like that's what you're missing, the go offense, right? I don't know how, because you're my boy, you rock with me, and I broke it down. I broke it down beautifully. You know what I'm saying? The difference with the go offense and how the go offense is built to attack teams and everything else. So since you don't know, I guess I'll kind of fill you in upon that. Like, for instance, just a little bit about the go, right? The go is like, it does arrive from the family of how Mummy's air raid system, and then you had the run and shoot system, which was like the 1990s, 2010, something like that, where that came in. Then you had, I think there was a guy, when I did my homework, Mouse Davis, 1975, he had something called the run and shoot, and that was like a pass spread type of deal. You had Mike Leach's air raid, he ran in the early 2000s. You had Lincoln Riley's air raid, and you had Chip Kelly's spread hurry up. You had Urban Meyer's spread hurry up system. So the go offense does derive from that particular family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the exact same, but it comes from that family. It takes a lot of what Hell Mummy did, or June Jones, or Mouse Davis, and Urban and what they did, and he created something different, like Brennan Marion, right? He just didn't have the talent at the JUCO level where he was coaching at, so he maximized his quarterback position. See, because I guess you could say, let me how could I say this, right? There's a lot of, it's like the multi quarterback formations that's built in the go-go offense. You'll see two backs out there. You'll see the triple option, but you'll even it even look like a quadruple option because somebody will be in motion with it. You'll see the RPOs. You'll see all of that. You'll see those runs. You'll see the split zone running there. You may be even seeing other things, but let's say like you don't need a particular quarterback to run the go-go spread option type of system, right? And he built it that way because he didn't have the talent that everybody else had while he was at JUCO. So, like, for instance, with How Mummy's air raid system, you need a very accurate quarterback to run that system. You know what I'm saying? With a Mike Leach, you might, and then what another system, you need a very accurate quarterback. Well, in this system, it don't need none of that. So, and with the running back, and I mean, what you was talking about with the offensive line is the way that these multi formations and a lot of the misdirection with the numbers that you're setting up on with this offense. The offensive line doesn't have to be an all-world beater type of offensive line. You know what I'm saying? You go doing all this jet motion. They're all offenses, period, point blank, are built to create mismatches upon the defense. So that's a general take. But this offense in this go-go, that the way that he designed it is built to exploit that and to help the offensive line. So that's where that comes from.
Is it fair to say that it's hard to execute an offense if you don't have time, if your quarterback don't have time? You feel me? If your offensive line is not blocking. I see here last season, they gave up 38 sacks. That was 124th in the nation last year, man. So what do you see them improving to because they got the go-go offense? Where do you see them improving to from 124th to what?
They were 3-9 last season, but that record doesn't automatically.
No, I'm talking about the ranking of how many sacks they allowed. So what would you see them improving to from 124th to like what do you think the go-go offense could get them to? Because I guess it speed up the offense and make it a little quicker, maybe.
Well, it would have to go. You would have to. It had to be a go-go offense type of question. What do I think with the go-go offense and where they're actually going to go? But I don't think that the record carries over in anything from last season. I don't think that anything that went on with the Buffaloes can carry over from last season. We got a new defensive coordinator, new personnel offensively. You got an older roster. I think there's a lot better chemistry going on right now with the Colorado Buffaloes, and this is a different off season, and I get it in a brand new system. But the team is, I think so far what I've seen with the team is a dramatically improvement than the season last year. I think that's why you bring in a guy like Brennan Marion and Chris Marv. You know, I know Chris Marv just we can call that what it is. He accidentally just stumbled into a defensive coordinator type of job, right? Because he wasn't the hire to start off with, you know. So I get that. Robert Livingston was the guy to start off. He got fired. Chris Marv backed up into a job, but you know, so I get where you're going with that. But I can't put what happened last season on this Colorado Buffaloes team because when you bringing in a guy like Brennan Marion, you bring him in for this particular thing. You know, you bring him in like this. Colorado, you know, I don't know where, like, so your question again was, where do I think that they'll rank with the go-go offense?
For what improvement would you like to see for the go-go offense to be able to work? Because it ain't going to work if they come in again ranked 124th in the nation and sacks allowed. It's hard to run the offense when your quarterback on his butt that much. So, like, what would be a reasonable improvement that you could see to help them get to 8-4, what, 8-3?
Yeah, right? 8-4, 8-4, yeah, 8-4 record, 8-win team. Solid 7 games. I think people underestimate like when the fact that how much coordinators really matter in the game, like how much, because when we talk football, we talk about how you get Brent Pry being able to be a defensive coordinator, getting over at Virginia Tech. We talk about how, you know what I mean, James Franklin going back to Virginia Tech is going to make Virginia Tech better. They were a 2-win team last year, and they're going to be, they're going to be so much better. We could believe in that. But, with certain teams, and it's just not Colorado, right? It's just not Colorado. It's certain teams that just can't never make bounce backs, you know what I'm saying, after they make new hires with new coordinators. So I think we underestimate how much coordinators really matter when it comes to a football team. Now, the go-go offense, once again, it creates horizontal stress on the defense. Certain offenses want to stress you vertically. This is stressing you horizontally, vertically. That helps a bad offensive line. So even if the offensive line was bad, even if the offense, we got a problem with what? What's up
with them? You saying they not on? They go hard. You say they going horizontal, right?
I said it creates horizontal stress. It also stresses you vertically in this offense. It'll stress you vertically, horizontally. You let me finish. But they go both ways. This offense is going to stress you vertically, horizontally, all over the field. It's forcing defenses that have to sit there and pick your coverage. You got to know what's going on. It's going to create hesitation. That helps up bad offensive line. It used motion constantly.
Trenches, Chubb. Because again, I got another stat here, man, from last year. It was rated 132nd in the nation with tackles for loss allowed. They gave up 80 tackles for loss last season, averaging 8 tackles for loss per game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're already in the bottom with sacks. I'm trying to figure out who is these trench babies that's gonna make this go-go offense be efficient. Because it's hard to run offense when your quarterback running for their life and your running backs can't get no gaps to run through. I'm trying to figure that out. The trenches, it mean a lot. I know the coordinators mean a lot, and it can't help because some guys are able to scheme up some stuff for the guys they do have. But man, this offensive line ain't looking too good for me, Chubb.
How's that? Who on the offensive line ain't looking good to you right now? Who on the offensive line? Can you tell me somebody that you don't think that's looking good to you on the offensive line, particularly?
I can't give you anybody specific, but how many guys on the O line do y'all have returning?
He got everybody out the portal. He got a lot of people out the portal.
Brand new O line.
That portal have a team, yes, sir. So what? Yeah.
And they ain't never played with each other before.
Nuh-uh.
That's tough. That's tough.
That is tough.
And you know, like I know, a good offensive line at least needed a couple of seasons to play with each other. Now, I will say you do have some seasons where, good coaching, you feel me, you have at least a decent outcome. But to get that chemistry, that offensive line need to gel with each other, man. Hey, never know, man. That's really shooting the dice on it, man. It's hard for me to say they're gonna win 8 games.
I think I don't think you should have to say that at all. I think when you say 8 games, I think when somebody say 8 games, if somebody say 9 games, somebody say 10 games, that's a fan being a fan. That's them being able to, wanting to believe in their team or wanting to rock out with a team. You know what I'm saying? People pick different, records all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you, for instance, you're a Miami fan. You might pick, a different record to somebody else. You might have more realistic take, and somebody else may say 12-0. Somebody else may say 10-2. You know what I'm saying? So I think records vary. I think records vary on fans and how fans perceive a team or how they want to perceive a team. That you know what I mean? The way that rocks out. So I think, to each his own with that, but I think that they're in good shape. I believe in the coaches that he's got in the right places. Now, I have done some history on Chris Marv. Chris Marv defenses, and he was around last year with Robert Livingston helping with the linebackers. But I think that with the play at Colorado, I think that's a position you could look at and say, okay, that was okay. It wasn't the most horrible position on the defense, but we'll see what he able to give up now. Had a great defense over there at Virginia Tech. He's really known for that defense over there. And what he was able to do over there with that defense. I think he spent time at Mississippi State. He played at Vandy and at Florida State. That wasn't so. I mean, but look, if you go look back at those averages, DP, you go look at the averages of what he was giving up at Virginia Tech and at Florida State. Now, it wasn't great at all, but it's better than what we were last year.
Yeah, because what I will say, Chubb, from what I'm looking at, my boy, really, it ain't nothing but room to go up. You got to, from what I'm seeing. Even when I went to run defense, they finished the season ranked 133rd in the country. So you can't get worse than that. You got to get better than that. So I can see them, pulling out 6 wins, but 8 is gonna be tough, though. I would have to see the first couple of games and just see this offense is just turning up. And then I don't have that much confidence in Juju Lewis.
Why is that?
Just he's young and he ain't had a chance to get comfortable yet. Like that clock might still be ticking from last year in his head. He was being rushed, to go through his progressions and stuff. We'll see, man. He got an opportunity to prove me wrong, but I don't got that much confidence. And it ain't all the way him. It's really the protection.
And I think when we look at Juju Lewis, also, dog, like Juju don't need to be a Deion, bro. He didn't got to be a superstar quarterback, bro. You know what I mean? Juju just he don't got to go out there 4,000 yards, 40 touchdown. All Juju got to do is protect the ball, hit open receivers, operate Brandon Marion's offense, extend plays, because good quarterback play wins games. You know what I'm saying?
Elite one said down there.
What one talking about?
What does last comment?
He said, what do you think? What do you think has a better year, CU or FSU? I think CU has I think CU. They're in an easier conference.
You already know I'm gonna say CU with that one. I ain't giving FS Pooh no love.
I think CU I have a better season. You know what I'm saying?
And all honesty, anything, they might end up with the same record, to be honest. But it'll be good for CU. It won't be good for FSU. And when I say same record, I mean like a 6-win season. You feel me?
That'd
be good for CU, but it won't be good for FS Pooh.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think now they've been reporting on backwards things. You've been hearing all kinds of things, but they got some experience. Although they got some experience coming from positions, although it comes from the FCS level, right? DP, right? They got some experience, and having some experience out there with some of those guys who have been named to be defense all American at the FCS level, that helps, right? Because that's not your average FCS guy. I know, look, that's an FCS All American, right? So there's some credence to that, to which he may even become a above average Big 12 player. But in the Big 12, I don't think he has to be an elite, Myles Garrett type of guy, right? He just needs to go in there and be able to make plays, withstand to your gap assignment, always go in there, aligned assignment, and play ball. Simple things in the Big 12. They get away with that by being in the, because it is the Big 12. So, and we'll see what's going on, because obviously Texas Tech didn't believe in their quarterback, right? They don't believe in Will Hammond the way that other people do. Now, I think Will Hammond played good, but there's other people out there that don't believe in Will Hammond as much. I get it. Utah also has a new coach, but he's been in that system. He's been in that pipeline. He's been around for years. And Morgan Scaley, he has been around in that system for years. But we all know that stepping into the head coach role it's a different animal. Go ask any coach out there. Now you're just not a coordinator that's preparing for that particular offense or defense. You're preparing a whole team, and you have to have your offensive coordinator prepare, your defensive coordinator prepare. You got to have your defensive lineman coach prepare, your offensive lineman coach. So he's been around, but being a head coach, that may help some teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, when they have the Holy War game versus BYU, that may play out in BYU's favor when they play Utah, seeing that he never been a head coach. You know, that game, Kalani Sitake's already been in that role. That may pan out for them. So, and then you look at the Georgia Tech game, the game that we opening up with, Colorado's opening up versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has, Key lost some key players. When you lose the Hayes King, and that's that quarterback that you've been used to. And I know Alberto Mendoza, Fernando Mendoza's little brother, he's also athletic. I get that, but at the same time, they've lost some key pieces too. So that may be a game. And if we're going to play them the very first game,
I'm gonna tell you off the
gotta run away with that.
How Brett Key gonna come at CU. He gonna make Colorado prove to him that they can stop the run, that they improved from last year, that they can stop the run. Brett Key is going to try to run that ball. He's an old, ex-offensive lineman, so he going to play gritty and physical, man. So I don't know if Colorado going to make it out of that one just because of the style of play. In the Utah game, and like you said, they got
we almost got them last year, and they turned the ball over a couple of times. Georgia Tech should have beat Colorado up bad last year, bro.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for them, turnovers that they had, it might have been a blowout.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, they turned the ball over like that, and this just. And last year's team wasn't good. So, and they had a lot of good players. So the benefit of doubt being that they got a new quarterback. So do we think that Alberto Mendoza is going to be ready to step in and just take over the reins because of Brett Key being the head coach?
Well, I don't think Brett Key is going to put him in situations where he got to throw the ball a lot. If the running game going, it's all going to, the X factor is going to be the trenches with that game. You feel me? It all depends on who's going to protect their quarterback, who's going to be able to run the ball, and who's going to be able to,
And see, that's why that's why I be confused at with this though, D, because we give certain coaches the benefit of the doubt, like how you just did with Brent Key and Alberto Mendoza, but Julian Lewis don't get the same grace for being in a Brennan Marion offense.
This is why though. I have seen a Brett Key go almost 8 quarters with a Georgia. You feel me? So if his trenches is able, if he got his trenches built up to go against an SEC caliber program,
they're not there though.
I haven't seen Colorado play.
Keelan Rutledge ain't there though, dog. Keelan Rutledge is gone. Those trenches is gone.
In the past,
I get it. I get that though, bro.
I haven't seen Colorado do this. I've seen something.
You can't say Colorado. You gotta say. Have you seen any of Brennan Marion's offenses? Have you seen him roll at all at UNLV, at Sacramento State? Have you seen any of that?
No, I haven't.
So then you can't judge his offense fairly. And if you at 6 right now, and if you sitting there like I could see him getting 6 out of this schedule, if you go and look at UNLV's offense, so UNLV when they lost the Mountain West Championship to Boise State the year that that Ashton Jenny went crazy, that's the team they lost to, right? He was up at UNLV. He was the offensive coordinator up there. UNLV was putting up big points. Boise State was a problem. Like, boy, that wasn't they battled Oregon earlier that season, and people forget that. They talk about
Matt in that game.
They did. But to put that in context, you looking at the score. So we got to put that in context. You never seen the offense. You could say they got smacked, but you just said that you never seen his offense.
But this is my point. So they're playing in the Mountain West. I've seen Georgia Tech play better competition and beat better competition than I've seen Colorado play and beat. from the time that Brett Key been at Georgia Tech and from the time Coach Prime been at Colorado, what is a big win for Colorado other than TCU?
You're not about to trap me in the Colorado talk because we ain't talking about that. You ain't about to trap me with that. That was weak. That delivery was weak. Like because I'm talking about why. We talking about coaching. You give Alberto Mendoza the benefit of the doubt because of what Keaton Rutledge did, and Keaton Rutledge is in the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
I put it this way, Chubb. If Mario Cristobal didn't have an offensive line, I say Miami gonna be trash. Miami, if Mario Cristobal didn't have an offensive line, I sit here and say Miami gonna be Miami wouldn't be Bufale. Miami wouldn't be able to run the ball no matter what offensive coordinator he get in there. If we don't got nobody to protect our quarterback, we're gonna be pick six city and we're gonna be laid out.
We can't. We gotta. If you could give benefit of the doubt to some other coordinators, we'll talk when we talk football. We'll talk about other coordinators. We'll talk about other head coaches and what we seen with them and what they were capable of doing. And then we'll sit here and talk about the FCS players that Colorado got. But y'all don't want to hear about the FCS players that Colorado got, right? Nobody cares that they're FCS All-American. That got to count for something.
Yeah, I give them some credit, Chubb, because even though they FCS players, I gotta give them some credit because the Big 12 it's a good conference, it's a step up, but it ain't like it's just a astronomical step up. You feel me? As far as competition, but I will say the trench play is a little different when it comes to the FCS play until the Big 12 football.
Yeah, I think they'd be all right, man. I think they'd be okay with the guys that they got in these positions. Like, I think they good. Like, I mean, you got a guy like Gideon Lamprey. You got Cree Thomas from he transferred from Notre Dame. And I'm not saying that means, now listen to me. Let me put that in the context. Because that doesn't mean because he transferred from Notre Dame that he's going to show up in the Big 12 because he came from a big school. No, that doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. Don't matter where you came from. All that matters is where you at and if you're going to get the job done in your position where you at right now. I think they have a very cohesive defensive backfield with Nathan Mitchell, Boo Carter, Justin Eaglin, Randon Fournette. I think that's really cohesive and it goes right with Tyler Martinez, Gideon Lamprey, and those guys. And then the trenches, you got Santana Hopper, right? He's been proven out there in the battlefield with the American Athletic Conference. He played for Tulane last year. He's been proven of getting some work. Bringing in, we brought in another guy out the transfer portal. You know what I mean? Off the defensive line, and that works too. So
hey, Trey say Juju 0-3 as a starter and worse wide receiver than they had last year. Yeah, I know. Omarion gone, ain't that my boy name?
Yeah, Omarion gone. Omarion bounced.
Yeah, I like that boy though.
Omarion bounced it, and him being 0-3 last season, that's okay. I'm not tripping on that. You still got Isaac. You got Isaac Wilson back there. I'm not tripping off that. I just want to know where's the grace come in at with this man. You know what I mean?
This man grace. The grace I give him is I hope he don't get sacked like he did last year.
That's we can't. Okay.
But no, I don't got nothing against Colorado, man. But I can't just put my neck out there for
I am.
Prime.
That's okay. I am.
Yeah, Prime, man.
But it's not really for Prime though, bro. It's not for Prime though, bro. And it's everything we talk about. We talk college football. I guarantee you, if you go back and you look at some of your other takes, we talk about coordinators and coaches, coaches and coordinators. We constantly break that down with the Jimmies and Joes and then when we get to certain teams, like it don't add up. It don't add up, and it's like it's cool, but it's like, damn, like is it like what's up there? Like we don't do that with every team. We skip over that with some teams. We knock that out the way. Certain teams get certain grades, certain teams don't.
Another example, man, like UCLA, they got a new coach, but I can't speak too much on UCLA because I don't really know how they trenches looking. Now, just from what they coach have done in the past. I got a little confidence, and I've been hearing they've been doing a little good, and the transfer, they did good in the transfer report. They got some recruits in and stuff, and they got a coach that has coached before. But how much confidence I'm gonna give in UCLA, I don't necessarily know. Even if they do
I
got
think
some decent,
they got no choice. UCLA got no choice but to go up. They were 3-9 last season. You got a coach who's known for winning. They've been doing good on a recruiting trail right now. You got Nico. They're gonna have a better year, right? Colorado was 3-9 last year. One of the worst defenses. Well, not that good of an offense. They got no choice but to trend upwards, right? You know what I'm saying?
Like, they got no choice. But
they got no choice but to trend upwards from that. And then you look at the way that Dion always does it. He comes in bad season, then he has a good season. Last year was a bad season. Now it's about to be a good season. This is the trend.
We don't know that.
Even if you look at the way that things trend with Dion and what Dion do, like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know that it's going to happen with Mario Cristobal. We don't know that it's going to happen with Bob Chesney. We don't know that it's going to happen with Kurt Signetti. We don't know
but
that it's going to happen.
A lot of those guys gave us
something
to work with. They gave us something to have confidence.
He's been known to, Dion's been known to, when he has players out there, when he get his Jimmys and Joes. But yeah, Danny Scudero is a player. You have to be fair, DP, and say, I don't know the players. I haven't researched the players. You have to be fair as an analyst out here and say that you don't know the team.
A couple of wide receivers that y'all have, like y'all got one out of the transfer portal.
And who's that? Who's that?
I think he's from Sacramento State. One of them wide receivers. And then y'all got another one last name Moore. He decent also. I think he transferred from LSU. And like the linebacker, middle name ESPN, y'all have a few players, but y'all was so bad last season in the key factors of football. And as in stopping the run, running the ball, and protecting the quarterback. Them like the main factors, and y'all was the worst. And it ain't like y'all was top 10 in the transfer portal.
So how do you fix that? And how do you? So what do we got to do in that particular point? When you making that particular point, so what does Colorado have to do? You have to. So now we got to go look at the offensive coordinator from last year and see what he was able to do. So the only way that you can even get a glimpse of that is going to go look at Sacramento State from last season and what they were able to do. And the game I particularly like that I was told to go look at a lot of times was the Nevada game, right? Because Sacramento State is in a big sky FCS team. Nevada is supposed to be a good Mountain West football team, which is a Division I team, right? And they lost that game, however, but they lost that game because of penalties. You want to go see how the offense looked and how it performed versus a D1 level team, a Division I team. You go look at that game and you go look and see how his trenches was and how his offense operated. Because if we're
shots at the G5, but Nevada is a G5 school.
That's cool, and that's cool. But this is supposed to be a Big Sky FCS team that Brennan Marion had, right? So you have to go look at that. So we have to familiarize ourselves with Brennan Marion and what Brennan Marion's offense is capable of doing before we go and judge what Colorado may look like this year, right? To be fair, we have to look at that because, like, for people to say,
for the simple fact, it's not Power 4 football.
But he was so go look at the Mountain West teams. Then go look at his Mountain West teams. And to be fair, Bob Chesney has not coached in Power 4 football yet. He coached at James Madison, and before that, he was at Holy Cross.
But look how James Madison actually been doing a little good. I will say that, but still, I don't necessarily.
Sacramento State didn't do bad last season. He got 7 wins as his first year as a head coach last season.
It's hard for me to give you credit if you ain't did it at the P4 level yet. That's all I'm saying.
So is it hard for you to give Bob Chesney credit because he ain't do it at the P4 level?
That's why I ain't full regalia on them yet. You feel me? I said they got a chance to do better because of the coach's resume, but I don't know how the O-line looking. I don't know how the D-line looking. And
I think the O-line, I think this offensive line is I think the guys that they brought in is fair. You know what I mean? They bring in a guy. There's guys that's inexperienced in some positions on that offensive line. But I think particularly at right tackle, that's Javion McFadden that came from Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the experience of starting last year because he didn't start his first year. So he's coming down to Colorado to put in some work. That's Jordan Seaton's cousin. He came in. He's inexperienced at right tackle. He'll have to grow. He'll have some growing pains, but I think he's been doing defense. I think when you look at guys like Demetrius Hunter being there, being a grad transfer, I think that he'll step up and he'll do some things. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the guys. And then you look at like Bill Hewley and at left tackle, he has to come in and step up. Like Yaya Ada, those guys. And those are the guys right now. And let's not forget Larry Johnson Javen McFadden is going to be at right guard. Now, he could play both. He could play right tackle or right guard. So it really don't matter which one we use him at. We'll probably put him at right guard and put him next to Larry Johnson because Larry Johnson has had some good success at being an offensive lineman at Colorado and being hurt. So the trenches on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's fair to say, at least it's fair to say that Colorado will be okay, right? In that position. They are right. They not, I don't want to go and say that would be great, but in the Big 12, they don't have to be great or at least.
The thing with Colorado too, Chubb, I feel like it's a lack of consistency as far as the program, dog. Like they don't have a core of a class. They don't have classes stacked on top of each other. You know, I feel like they're too dependent on the transfer portal, and I feel like that's hurting them. And that's why I feel like on Florida State looking the same way they looking at the guys that it's coming out of high school. They're not staying. They leaving. They're leaving early. You feel me? And then you got to go in the transfer portal. A whole bunch of new group of guys.
Bro, he been killing the recruiting. He been crushing the recruiting, bro. Have you not been seeing what's going on with the recruiting with Deion?
They ain't been in the top 10, top 15, top 20. I don't know.
Nah, it's hard to do that from within the Big 12, especially when you got the powerhouse like Texas Tech. You know what I'm saying? Doing what he doing. You know what I'm saying?
Like in the Big 12.
Even you know what I'm saying? But still, though, like
everybody don't got Texas Tech.
But
money,
you talked about the race, right? So, but they have been recruiting. They got a couple of four. Like he got a 4-star out of Pittsburgh, Gabe Jenkins. He just got a 3-star linebacker that was supposed to go to Ohio State. Like I mean. That he just got a 2030 guy for the number 1 tackle from in Colorado. They've been stacked. He's been doing what he's doing. He's even going in state now. He's going to be the number 1 tackle in Colorado soon. The 2030 guy. So he's been doing this thing and getting better with recruiting, and I think that has a lot to do with him growing as a coach, like going through the season that he had last year and having an experienced guys like Marion. That matters on the team. And you can tell that there's some changes being made because they've brought in last year. I think around this time last year, they were capped out probably between 9 and 12 commits from high school. Right now, if you look at Colorado, they're around the last time I actually checked and verified it was 17. There's somewhere between 17 and 20 recruits committed right now for future in Colorado. So he's doing that.
17 commits, but Colorado,
there you go.
That's the 46th class.
That's okay. But he's still doing it. He's still doing it. That's okay. He's still doing it. We don't want to talk.
You got West Virginia at 36.
That's fine. That's fine. That's Rich Rod. That's West State
at 26.
That's fine.
The Big 12, I see. Then you got the big dog Texas Tech at number 6 right now.
That's okay.
Recruiting class.
I don't get caught up in those numbers. Those numbers don't mean nothing to me.
I will say this: they recruiting better than Alabama right now, which is crazy. Alabama's still in the 50s.
Why say everything else if they recruit out? You know, and to be fair,
I want to give some credit, Chubb.
But to be fair, and what's going on with Bama, right? That's something different going on with Bama, and in the way that he's approaching, that Kellen DeBoer is approaching this recruiting, and see,
man,
just because
Caleb DeBoer got 18 3-stars and 3 4-stars. When has Alabama ever had something like that?
Yeah, y'all got it. Look, I'm gonna tell you like this: by now in college football, we have to stop looking at guys because of the stars that they got. Because listen, them stars will get you to the dance, but the star don't mean that you're leaving with a date, baby. You hear me?
I ain't going for that for a simple fact. I've been cheering for a team that was bad for 20 years, and we was recruiting mediocrely. I would say that. And once Mario got here, and we start stacking them 5-stars and 4-stars, and you maneuvering in that transfer portal the correct way, getting the real Jimmys and the Joes. We lit, baby.
Y'all in the ACC, bro.
Yeah, we in the ACC.
Y'all in the ACC, bro. There ain't no other really big competition. If you go out talent everybody in the ACC with Miami, what are we talking about? That's in the ACC.
What we did when we didn't play teams,
you know what I'm saying?
Playoffs.
Because you look at teams with the evaluated or equal talent that the Miami rosters have.
We did to the teams we played out of conference that wasn't in the ACC.
Y'all beat them.
We won.
Can I ask you a question? What did y'all do versus a team full of 3 stars in the national championship?
Shoot, we lost. Them boys, and I ain't gonna make no excuse. They won. We lost.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
we made it, Chubb, with them 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah, I told you them 4 and 5 star. I said they'll get you to the dance, baby. They'll get you to the dance, but that don't mean you leaving with a date. You gonna leave with the blue balls.
You can't make the outliner the rule.
But that's the way
Indiana was an outliner. They ain't a regular team with just.
How come I can't? Why do we got to keep saying they're an outliner? Nobody gave Indiana a damn chance. No, we're not doing that. And I'm not. No, we were talking about stars. We were talking about stars at the moment, and that's one example. We talked about one example
out of many.
You know what I'm saying?
Outside of Indiana,
they outworked a team. The example was the Stars. They had 3 stars. Nobody gave Indiana a damn chance last year. Everybody thought they caught lightning in the bottle. Yeah, everybody thought that they was ranked number 14 out of the 16 in the Big Ten, and then they went 16-0, and they won a national championship. Nobody gave a damn how old Indiana was. Nobody gave a damn and started looking to Indiana and the fact that they came from James Madison with 3 stars that out-schemed a team that was full of 4 and 5 stars. Nobody gave a damn about that.
That's one example.
But it still works. But there's more examples out there.
Hold on, hold
up. They ran through every. This is
my point.
You said that's one example. So who did Indiana go through to get there? They beat Ohio State.
What you're saying about
they beat Oregon.
It ain't just necessarily about in there. It's about the 3 stars, right? The other 2 teams that was. Hold on, wait. The other 2 teams that was full. The other 2 teams that was full.
Bro?
I'm trying to finish my point.
But but every time I get to cooking, you stop me. You stop me in the middle of me cooking.
The other 2 teams. The other 2 teams that was 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
That was full of 3 stars. Was what it was. James Madison and Tulane. They made it right. What happened to them with their team full of 3 stars? You trying to make the one example the rule?
No,
everybody else full of 4 and 5 stars that made.
That's the same. That is the same weak ass excuse that everybody out there uses when we talk about Indiana, them being an outlier. Did you think Indiana was an outlier at the beginning of last season? Did you think Indiana was an outlier?
Last season they won 10 games, Chubb.
No, last season when they were 7-0, did you think they was an outlier? Did you think Indiana was good? Like, we keep saying outlier. That is a weak ass excuse.
That's one team that was full of 3 stars with a good head coach.
Example.
That's not going to be Colorado.
It matters work. When coaching and 3 stars work against a team who has
one example,
no business of being on the field, but they ran through everybody. And my point was Indiana. Who did they go through to get there? They beat Oregon twice last year. They also beat Ohio State, the same team that y'all beat. They beat Alabama. They beat those teams to get there to the national championship. Did they not?
That's one team. They did. That's one team you trying to make.
But there's been other teams too. There's been other teams too. But to be fair, we got to know exactly where and who they played and where these other teams played at. What other teams? There's been other teams who has lost their underdog teams last year. There's underdog teams that's won last year for sure. It happens every year in college football. Every year. Okay.
What happened when TCU? What happened when TCU made it to Georgia?
Did UAB not beat Memphis last year?
UAB and Memphis.
You said there's other examples. You said other examples, DP. Don't get me on my horse and try to shoot me off it.
That's not a good example.
Why is it not? They're way out talented than them. Memphis has been doing some of the best recruiting in American athletic. But to be fair,
I'm talking about Power 4. I'm not talking about G5.
That's an example, though. That's an example. They had no place of being on the field with them. Period, point blank. They're the worst team in American Athletic.
UAB and Memphis is in the same group of college football. They're both
okay, but that team has still in last place though. That team is in last place, and Memphis does. We know that American Athletic is very that team. It's Navy, Memphis,
man.
But it is what it is. You want an example, you ask for an example, and then when you get the example, you want to say it's G5. What do you want? Do you want the example, or do you want what? Because you know your boy be well worse than this college football shit, right? You know that.
I want a Power 4 example.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because you know your boy get it rolling with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you
trying to prove to me that stars don't matter.
No, I think stars matter to a point. In the way that college football is going right now, we can't keep saying that stars is going to matter because once the playing field gets evened out, it's going to be coaching over everything. It's going to be coaching over all that. You got to have the coaches to go with it too. You just can't be getting the good players. You got to have good scheme. I believe that stars matter to a point, right? So let me put this into context, right? When you got great coaching, you got great scheme, that can beat stars anytime. I would take 3 stars with great awareness and with a great scheme and all that and whoop on y'all and whoop on teams because it works. Great coaching matters. Great coaching matters. Coaching your football team absolutely matters, especially now today in college football. You're damn right it does, baby. Give me one. You hear me?
No, what I'm saying is just because I'm saying stars matter doesn't mean I'm saying coaching don't matter. Because you can have a team full of 5 stars, but if you have a bad coach, that lets you know you need a good coach. But you can't just have a good coach, a good head coach, a good offensive coordinator, a good DC, and not have a lick of players on the field. It ain't gonna work. I don't care what you draw up. It's not gonna work. It ain't gonna. You can draw up anything you want to. If they can't block, if they can't tackle, they're gonna take an L.
It might be that way, but to be fair, DP, you have not. Well, you already admitted that. You already admitted that you have not seen Brennan Marion's offense and that you're not familiarized with it. So
yes, but
so you're not familiar. So to be fair to my homie, like you're not even familiar of the past history of what Brennan Marion's offense could do. You're familiar with Brent Key because you see Georgia Tech games.
A lot with Brennan Marion. How many times he's a coordinator of a P4 program and they were successful?
UNLV.
I said P4, not G5.
That's a P4.
They're not. P4 is Big 12, Big 10.
That's a D1 school. That's a D1 school over there at UNLV.
I ain't
that's
D1. USF D1. They ain't P4.
How many times? Let me ask. So, how many times has Bob Chesney been a P1 coach and been successful? I'm asking the same. I'll answer the question with a question. You ain't even
answer my question.
I'm answering the question with a question, dog. He hasn't been successful, but as a Power 1 coach, as a Power 4 coach. But how many times has Bob Chesney been successful as a Power 4 coach? To be fair, how many times? Now answer my question.
The same amount of times Brennan Marion.
Oh, the same amount of times Brennan Marion. Okay, I like that. That was slick. Yeah. But at the same time, so we gotta have so that all I'm saying is at the same time, we have great so there's a bias. I don't know where the bias come from. I don't know what.
No,
maybe you need to go familiarize yourself with Brennan Marion's global offense is actually about. You know what I'm saying? You got to go familiarize yourself with Brennan Marion's offense and what it's all about. Now, I could try to break it down to you as far as where it come from and everything else.
I'm giving you my point. So why? Like, I can basically, I don't even got to go to court. And I go to a position coach. Alex Mirabal, offensive line coach.
Okay.
Everywhere this man don't been at, he don't produce. He don't want that FIU. Then he went to Oregon, and now he with Cristobal at Miami.
Okay.
So he got a good, you feel me, resume. I can't even get the word out. I'm fumbling all over my words.
He got a good repertoire. He has a good repertoire.
He got a good repertoire.
Right. So, but when Andre Gerard is up there now. He's been fooling around with offensive line. He's been familiarized. He's an NFL type. He's been around these NFL guys, and they had, to be fair, they had 3 different offensive line coach last year, and that clashes, right? Because you got one guy teaching one technique, another guy teaching another technique. Gerard being up there now at Colorado, I think can make a difference. He does have some type of background with that, you know what I mean, and experience with offensive lines and putting good product out there, right? With some talent. So to be fair with that may help. So is that better? Okay, because I don't know where we're going with it. You know what I'm saying? So if we talking coaching,
I understand what you're saying, but
okay,
you got to see it on the field, man.
I mean, that's cool, but if you haven't, but to be fair, if you have not seen any of Gerard's, or if you have not seen any of, if you haven't seen none of their work, BP, like, or anything that, I mean, you can't do that. But I mean, but obviously there's a bias. It's cool though. It's okay. It's okay. I get it.
Basically what I'm saying, brother.
That's okay. Like, I get what you're saying, brother.
No. Listen, say and this is a scenario, so I know this ain't gonna never happen. This ain't possible. Mm-hmm. But if you went and told me, oh yeah, man, Colorado just hired Nick Saban, I'm gonna put a lot of weight in that. Just for a simple fact, who Nick Saban is. Brandon Marion, he ain't really did enough for me to just say, oh yeah, them boys can be turned up. And even so, I don't know the players that he got to work with.
But at the same
time, you got to give the man something to work with also.
But at the same sense, we'll say, but it's the Big 12, and you got to give them grace there, and you got to give them here. And every contender, everybody who contends in college football, you can say they got a question mark. There's a question mark here. Who's Alabama's quarterback? Question mark. Who Michigan's offensive skills right now? You got Brandon, you got Underwood. That might be having some problems, but will he fit in the Kyle Whittingham system? Is Florida State? They had no consistency. That's a question mark. Oklahoma, their defense. We know that the defense, their offense is going to be decent with John Mayterry returning. We expect Burt Venables to do his thing, but you could question that, right? You could question. You could also, so you have all right to, and I get it, to question, to put a question mark beside offensive line of Colorado, right? So I don't blame you on that, right? But the one concern does not erase all the other strengths and the proven product that these guys had with their snaps in college football, regardless of what level it comes from. They have had snaps and experience in college football, right? And that has to be accounted. That just has to be. And then so,
yes, I can give them credit for that, but they haven't did it together. They haven't did it as a team. And far as the offseason go with all the teams, like you said, yeah, everybody got question marks. But this is, for the most part, we go off in the offseason is what they did, what they did last year, what they did in the transfer portal, and what they did in the previous high school recruiting class. This is what we got to go off on right now. You feel me? So
I think to be fair, D, that's how you judge football teams, right? That's how you look into football teams, and that's how a lot of people look into college football. The college football fans, a lot of people look at it in the off season, but championships ain't won on paper. You know what I'm saying? Championships and games ain't won on no paper. A lot of people look good on paper right now. You know what I'm saying? I could say that for the same thing. I like Darian Mensah. I believe in Darian Mensah, right? But Darian Mensah played at Duke last season. Brother. He wasn't the quarterback for Miami last year, but I believe in him. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a good ball spinner. I think he's one of the pure passers in college football, right? But he also started off at a G5 program, right? You know what I'm saying? The quarterback before Carson Beck that y'all had at Miami, he also started off at an Incarnate Ward, and then he played at the G5 Mountain West with Washington State, and then he went to Miami. So it's been proven to be successful. So I wouldn't necessarily just knock guys out of the keep guys out of the
Pac-12. And Darren Mensah just played last season in the ACC. Was the second leading passer in the nation.
But we haven't seen these guys. We haven't seen these guys even get their chance to perform. They're on their showcase this year. All I'm saying is you got to give those guys a chance to prove themselves, right? And there's nothing wrong with you sitting there saying that they might go 6-6. There's nothing wrong with me saying that they might win 7 games. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? There's just a difference in record. There's just a difference of believability. If Coach Pro think they want to win, if Coach Pro stand by Colorado and his hot take is that they want to win 8 games because he believes differently in the offense, that's what Coach Pro believes. That's just a difference. That's a subjective. That's subjective, right? That's not objective because we haven't seen anything. So there's a lot of subjective language that's floating around during the off season in college football anyhow, right? This is all subjective. Nothing's objective at the point. But you know what I'm saying? So, but all I'm saying is, and I can get into their stats from last season. Yes, they've proven themselves in Power 4 football, but he proved himself in the ACC. You know what I'm saying? He also proved himself at Tulane before Duke even got him, right? And to be fair, before Washington State got Cam Ward, he proven himself at Cornet World, but that does not mean that they cannot play at the next level because this is where these guys come from too, though. So to put their stats in the context and say that they was the number 1 passer in the ACC, that's fine to do that. But you also have to put in the context too that they once were a G5 starting quarterback, now playing at your school. We had to do that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. This is these guys' chance to showcase.
They gave me something to work with the year prior. Like I just said, right. I ain't gonna just go off the rim and say,
okay, so what Danny Scudero was able to do last season, we have to also put that in the context, right? Is that one of the receivers that you were talking about that was supposed to be good on the team, Danny Scudero? Is he one of the guys?
He got dreads. I can't think of his name.
What are you talking about? Cam Perry from Miami of Ohio put up over 800 yards in the MAC, right? So that's what you're talking about. I know that's what you're talking about, Cam Perry. That's one of my favorite. That's my favorite. One of my favorite receivers on the squad this year. Yeah, so he's one of those guys.
That guy named Ernest Campbell.
Okay, Ernest Campbell, another guy from Sacramento State who also proven himself up at Sacramento State, right? You know what I'm saying? He was also proving himself on the football field at the wide receiver position. And then you got your guy, to tell you about a little bit about Danny Scudero and to familiarize with him. He had over 88 receptions or something like that, over 80 of them. He had over 1,000 yards. He had like 10 touchdowns or something like that. Just to familiarize you with him. So he was a successful receiver. So we can go off the context with that, right? So is that a little bit more context for
Ernest Campbell, though? After he played at Sacramento State, he went to Texas A&M. He played in 1 game, and that's it. Then he ran track. This is what I mean. It ain't no guarantee a guy gonna come from a lower level and perform at a higher level.
There's
Campbell, and mind you, he had production at Sacramento State. Get to Texas A&M.
But we looking at guys like we also looking at guys. But he balled out. You say hold up. He didn't play at He didn't play at Texas Tech last year. Texas
A&M.
No,
he played 1 game. No, and that's it.
No, Ernest. No, bro. No, you got that wrong. Check your information again. Go look at it again.
My bad. It was a year before.
Okay.
So he went down from Texas A&M to Sacramento State.
And then balled at Sacramento State, correct?
Which makes sense. So that tells me that might be his level.
So, but his production there, did it go up once he got on the field? Did he show improve on the field? That's what we're looking at from last year. But that's okay. That's okay though.
Playing?
That's fine. That's fine or whatever. He didn't start at Texas A&M. He went to Sacramento State. He put in his work there. To put in the context, you got to go with that. We can't be biased here, bro. If we're gonna keep it a buck, we gotta keep it a buck.
Young man, that don't mean he
gotta keep it a buck.
Even Hakeem Williams ain't did nothing since he came out of high school. Nathaniel.
He hasn't, but that's okay though. That's okay. There's a lot of guys who have
17 games across 2 seasons at Florida State, finished with 21 receptions, 267 yards, 2 touchdowns in 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts on him. I don't think Hakeem Williams is going to be starting. I think you're looking at him as being a depth piece on the team, a number 2X. I think he'll probably be behind DeAndre Moore. He came over from Texas, and I think he's getting the benefit of doubt because he's coming from Texas. You know what I'm saying?
What is Coach Prime in year 4, year 5?
Coach Prime is in year 4 right now.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing. He don't got no nucleus, man. He needs a nucleus of I think he's trying to build bought in, man.
And I think he's trying to build that up at Colorado right now. I think he's trying to build that.
In year 4,
he's showing that. year 4, this shouldn't be happening in year 4. Let's get that correct. Let's get that straightened out right now. Year 4, the team should not be looking like this. The team that you should not be doing a rebuild, a restart in year 4. Period. Point blank. Let's get that corrected, right? Let's get that out the way. But I'm not a head coach, so I don't know exactly how that rolls. But you should, in my opinion, as you know, looking at this college football game, no, that shouldn't be happening. But it did. We here now. We got some guys that's in proper positions that should be able to do what it do, right? And that's it. You know, we got Marion on that offense, and that should help a lot. He's the coach right now in the spot, and it seems to be working because you going out there grabbing 4 stars like Gabe Jenkins. That's my hands down one of my favorite commits right now from the Bird, a safety. That's coming in. That's going to be coming in. He's a problem. And when you can go out and get guys like that, we know that Prime is working. I think that shows that Prime has been working a lot more with his staff instead of against his staff and trying to change his ways. So I'm just willing to go ahead. I'm one of the people that's out there willing to go ahead and give Prime in Colorado the nod and say that things are going to change this year. However, you're one of the people that's on the other side of the fence that's just saying that Colorado, that I got to judge and I got to wait to see what they prove me wrong. But you know what I mean? I just want those type of people to keep the same energy. If Colorado is successful this year, because I'm going to keep the same energy. If they're not successful, I'm still going to be able to come out here and say what things or didn't go this way or didn't go that way. But those 3 people that could keep the same energy and say that but at the same time, the thing that which I don't like about the whole situation, and keep it a buck with you, dog, is we give other coaches grace, and I get it. I can't compare James Franklin to this situation, but we give a guy like a Chesney the nod and to say that he's going to go up to UCLA and change things, but we can't do that with Brendan Marion, right? And
they got a little bit more to work with him. That's the only.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get that. I get the more to work with thing. The one thing that I have learned in these 3 years, and I love the fact that I've come in this college football game the way that I have, and early. I love it. And this is why, because I got new lenses. I have new eyes. A lot of people that have been following college football and college football enthusiasts has been in this game for years, and they're used to a system being one way. Things are changing in college football. Things are different. Things are not the same. They're just not, right? And as much as people want them to remain the same, they're constantly changing. There is a new way of recruiting. There's new tools to use the recruiting. You couldn't use the internet the way that you use. College football has, some people call it the watering down. I just like to say that it's the playing field is evening, right? You're not able to hoard talent after talent after talent, right? It gets hard because there's going to be commits that's going to commit to your school, and there's going to be decommits, right? That's just going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Within this game.
Depending on how this bill go down, ain't no telling, man. Shoot,
one thing that I've seen is that, yes, a lot of players are having all the talent in the world and having the 4 and 5 stars on your team, they will get you to the dance. You will have the best suit on. You will be dripped up, draped out, jumping out of a Wraith, getting drove there in a Bentley, baby. But that don't mean that you're leaving with the finest chick after the dance. Fuck around and leave with blue balls, bro. That's the one thing that I've seen in college football. Because you could easily say that SEC is the most stacked conference out there.
I'm about to say, Chubb, they ain't finna let you in the school dance with a 3-9 record.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could easily say that the SEC is the most stacked conference out there when it comes to talent. Nobody could compare to them. They got all the talent in the world, but they haven't been able to lock down the national championship for the past 3 seasons. Why is that? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. But when so that's what gives me to put in the context to look at when stars, that all don't matter. I think coaching does.
Well, no, I wouldn't say stars don't matter because right now it shows the NFL they get the most players from the SEC. Well, I feel like with the SEC, now that they don't got the same depth that they had during the BCS era, I feel like since they schedule so like really they have some of the toughest schedules out of anybody. So by the time they get in the postseason, most of their starters beat up, and they got to depend on them backup that they used to have in the BCS era. But now, when the backup that you got to depend on, they nearly at the same level as some of the Big 12 guys, because they don't stole some of your starters. So now everybody able to compete with each other a little bit more. But it's certain schools that I feel like they're not gonna never get to a certain level. You feel me? No matter how college football change, you feel me? Some schools just not gonna get to that level. Now it's possible for Coach Prime to do something, but at year 4 right now, I don't have no confidence in it, man. Then the first year, I feel like a lot of that was a gift to Shador and Travis Hunter. You remove Travis Hunter off of that, and Shador, man, I don't know. I don't know another quarterback that can get sacked as much as Shador did, rushed as much as Shador did, and perform the way he did. He was a real deal. He should have got drafted way earlier just for the simple fact he had to play with that offensive line and still make plays. Every quarterback can't do that.
Mm-hmm. I think so look, man, the thing with all that being said, you got if the offensive line, if it's going to be average instead of below average, that's cool. We have to work with that in the Big 12. But Colorado's ceiling, I think it just raises to me. The ceiling raises to me, because the defense and the skill talent that are already in place, the couple of guys that are there. And I think when you're leading, you're not looking at just stars with a group like this in the Big 12. You're looking to put leaders in positions to be able to lead the team. And that's what you have to do as a coach. Those are signs of good coaching when you're looking at guys to put in place, when you're not just looking at stars and you're actually looking at guys to be a good fit on your team. I think that's a sign of looking at some change that's moving around and that's going around within the Colorado system, right? And what we're looking at with Colorado. Now, I get it. I get the way that you feel about it, but these points keep like this discussion and going on. And as we could say that they stay relevant because we're still talking about them.
Because, hey, listen, I want you to give me the business of Colorado come out there swinging, going 8-0 and 9-0. And you feel me? Just turn it up. We're going to come back on. I want you to give me the business. But if not, I'm going to give you grace.
Stop. Nah, there ain't no grace to be given. There ain't no grace to be given.
So I like what you said when you was like, if the offensive line can be average. I feel like if Colorado offensive line can at least be average, the go-go offense will do it a lot more justice. They can hide a lot more if the O-line can at least be average. But if it's anything close to what it was last year, I don't know how much the go-go offense is gonna help that. That's kind of my point, also, really.
And I think like, look, even if like the dude Ben Jarvis Shoemaker from Ole Miss that flipped back and forth, even if he's flipping back and forth, even if he's using Colorado for leverage against Ole Miss. Like he took Kalen Bailey from Ohio State right out of Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's the recruiting that's going on this year. The man trying now that doesn't. I'm not trying to change any minds with that. But we can't keep, saying that recruiting ain't this and recruiting ain't that because he's not on the top level or whatever. But that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of talent out there. And I think a lot of the talent, to be honest, and a lot of the hungriest players, and I'll stand on this with anybody, the hungriest players have a 3-star attached to their name. 4 and 5 stars are pampered. Then most of them are pampered. They come in, they know they the man, and they got to keep up with that. Those 3 stars come in hungry. They understand. They come in with a chip on their shoulder. They coming in ready to prove and ready to play the game. They don't go to school ready to be the star on campus, driving around in the hottest cars. They go in there ready to prove themselves, and those are football players that I like. Real grit, gutty, nut checking, cojones type of guys that I like. I like 3 stars. I do. And I'll stand on that with anybody.
Well, I will say this, man. Not to give Coach Prime too much, but man, Coach Prime, you hurting me, dog. Because Coach Prime, you're one of my favorite DBs of all time. But man, like some of the situations with some of the 5 stars he had, like Camardi McClain, you feel me? It ain't work out there. He go to Florida and he made himself a starter. Jordan Seaton. You feel me? Big dog. Feel me? That I guess he ain't, because he was one of the best thing they had, best thing smoking. Went to LSU, now he looking like a freakazoid. You feel
Look,
me?
I thought that was one of the best. Look, see, I'm gonna catch flack here, right? Because I came out and said that was probably the best move for Jordan Seaton, right? Because we sit here and say that when you don't really know your situation with coaching and you come off of having a 3-9 season, a lot of players are going to tend to leave those type of teams, right? Because it happens everywhere in college football. And the move that Jordan Seaton made was a business decision for, I think, his future. Because you look at teams like, let's say Penn State and LSU from last season. LSU and Penn State both had, and I'm using them for example because they didn't have the best of record. To put this into more context, those teams lost, and I think ended up 7-6 last year. And you had guys like Zane Durant, that was a for sure first rounder defensive lineman. And Delaney, I think the Chiefs were so high on him, they still took him early, but that wasn't guaranteed. I can't remember the tight ends names from LSU, but he was supposed to also be one of the highest tight ends.
Talking about Jason Taylor's son?
No,
Mason Taylor? No.
Yeah, I think it might not be him. 6'5".
Recent.
Yeah, recent. He just came out this year. This year went to the draft.
This past season.
Yeah, this past season. He went into the draft 6'5".
Went last year,
but he was supposed to be one of the top guys, but they didn't. They folded from a bad season. So that situation that Jordan Seaton went in, that was a great business decision. I thought that move was for him on his future to move somewhere where he get eyeballs on him. You know what I'm saying? He got a bag.
Drafted regardless. So.
I mean, that's the fact. He was going to get drafted regardless, but still.
Probably not as high because of the team performance, though.
You got to make that. You got to make that move, especially when you don't. Especially for we just talked about you being in year 4 and going through a rebuild. That's not something you want as an offensive lineman. And you just had 3 offensive line coaches, and you don't know exactly who's going to be your offensive line coach coming in this year. He didn't know that Andre Gerard was going to stick around. You know what I'm saying? Like the year previous, your offensive line coach went to Mississippi State. You know what I'm saying? You can't have all that movement if you're Jordan Seaton and you know you're a surefire offensive lineman, and you got a place like in the SEC that's offering you a bag that has some, and a coach that has coming with the cachet of Lane Kiffin, bringing in the guys he's bringing in. Like, you got to make that move. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what's best for you at the end of the day, right? And to be fair, a lot of the Big 12 and ACC players, when they're proving themselves, have been known to be poached by the Big 10 and the SEC. Let's not get that twisted, right? Those guys who perform well in the ACC and in the Big 12, they tend to get poached by the other teams in the SEC and the Big 10. Like Pitt's linebacker got poached by Texas, right? Texas went and grabbed him real quick from Pitt, proved himself at Pitt, had a great season. Now I want to snatch you up, bring you to Texas. You know what I'm saying? Now Texas got one of the top rated defenses in the SEC. That happens every single year. That's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So the pool that you're stuck to deal with from the Big 12 is largely the G5 pool. You know what I mean? You got to go pull from there, prove yourself in the ACC or the Big 10. I mean, ACC or the Big 12. And then you might be able to move up to the Big 10 or the SEC. But all in all, to say that the way that I'm optimistic on it, that's me. What you guys may believe, and that's fine, what you believe. And I want everybody to come in and give me hell if they're not successful. But I doubt if they're not.
I ain't gonna
doubt it. I doubt it. I highly doubt if they're not successful in the Big 12 this year. But
them winning 6 games will be successful. So it all depends on what our definition of successful, honestly.
Absolutely. I think so, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Six games is successful.
They only won 3 last year, so a 3-win turnaround.
You can't get no way but better. You can't get nowhere but better when you win 3 games, right? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of you can't do nothing but go up from there. You can't get no worse. You can't get no worse than that. You just can't.
Yeah, I don't see him getting worse. I don't see him winning only 2 games.
No.
Not like that. Let's everybody in the Big 12 don't win and got loaded up or something. I don't see them only winning 2 games. That'd be crazy work.
Texas Tech is crazy. There's some crazy things floating about around with Texas Tech that we might be able to get up into in a minute here.
I don't got that much confidence in Texas Tech no more, man. You know why? Quarterback gone.
Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it. So
CFL don't want them neither, boy. The CFL don't want you neither, boy. That mean, boy. I was gonna say UFL, y'all better grab them, but I don't know.
Dog,
I touch them neither.
Dog, they don't want him, man. They told him to go ahead and kick rocks, bro. The CFL told your boy to kick rocks. Now you know that's bad, D. Now you know that's bad. Oh, the Bishop in the back. Why you ain't tell me Bishop was up here, man?
I said Bishop was in the back.
Oh my God. God damn.
Yeah,
my bad, Bishop. What's up, dog?
What's up? I'm just seeing I seeing two kings just spitting fire. I'm just listening.
Yes, okay, all right. Hey, I appreciate you coming through and blessing the platform, Bishop.
No. I see you putting in work, man. I just wanted to come through and see what's the biz and see what's the flavor is for tonight. Looks like you're putting in work.
You know said cook it. Colorado is cooking and college football is crooked. But I was up here talking about Colorado and me being optimistic with the offense. What you got to add to that conversation?
Let me piggyback because I've been listening in the background and I get it. It's sort of tough because really, if you thought about it, Coach Prime in those first 2 years, he was just trying to figure out a way to make it go for his kids, Travis and what's not. But now when he came out of that, after they left, all of a sudden he trusted some people to know how to go about recruiting that really didn't bring in the right pieces. And it really showed out on the field when you didn't have people that were willing to finish out, throughout the season. So what I like that when he did it, he got people who learned how to get it out the mud. And, it's a lot of guesswork, but the bottom line is we know that go-go offense has been around for a minute, and it's just not it's not a flash in the pan, but it's actually he's been putting in work, and everywhere he's gone, no matter what type of quarterback or what style, pocket, runner, athlete, he has made the go-go fit to the quarterback and to the scheme of the offensive line. Absolutely. And that's what you need right now, because right now with Colorado, they're in such influx that you don't have true stability because everything is brand new. But what you have is young men that are tired of the narrative, and they chose to go with the Buff, and the Buff chose them. And so they're ready to go to war for him, and it's something about someone that that the narrative is already stacked against them, and you come in agreement with them, you're ready to run through a wall because he done been through the fire.
Right. Well said, Bishop. Well said. Because that's pretty much where I was getting at with it. Like, you know what I mean? In the beginning, like Brendan Marion didn't have much to work with at the JUCO level, where he was proving himself in the proving grounds before he got his chance at UNLV. So he's been around for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. His offense has been proven to work. So, but to be fair though, D hasn't actually seen the go-go offense or what what Brendan Marion was able to do. So, I gotta, give my boy grace on that.
And much respect. And see, that's what hurts for me, because I know Coach Prime knows the game. It's not that he don't know the game. He just have had to go through some major fire tests. Plus, he had his own fire test behind the scenes. It's hard to stay connected to where you can stay on top of things. And I understand now that he has beaten that odds. And big salute to you, cancer free. Now he can totally focus and his kids are totally bought in, now we got to judge him from here, because what he had before, it was such an influx that I think he was trying to speed date and find the right connections. How his how the guys were here, but then last year was just it was a mulligan. He had to suck it up and just realize, no, we didn't make the right decisions, and I had a lot going on, but no excuses. You got to get out the mud. So that's why I like that the coaches he brought on are people that they already been in the mud, so they got no other place to go but up. And when you've been in the mud like that, you worked with less and had success.
Right.
What can you do when you have at a D1 and you can be more in contact and be able to draw in those ones that you used to miss on.
Right.
And that you'll be just on the cusp, but then when they go to their top five, you're not in the top five. Well, now you're starting to be in those top five. So, and understand. Go ahead.
What gives you the faith in this offensive line to proving themselves on the field, though? You know what I mean? Like, what makes you think that this offensive line in this defensive line is going to be successful in the Big 12?
I'm gonna have to be honest. When it comes to that, that's the crux or the question that needs to be answered. And if you had to be honest, there's no guarantees. But I understand that Andre Garrard knows what he's doing. He's a student of the game. But once again, offensive line is more of a unit. And only way you can get a unit, they have to work together and know their weaknesses and strengths. Otherwise, you're kidding yourself, because if you don't know my weaknesses and they hit the strong A and with a fire, and you don't know that, hey, that's my weak side, and I'm trying to punch, but my punch is not going to do it. If y'all not working as one and know, okay, they're coming to his weak side, then I'm going to punch first before I go on to my assignment.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that goes with playing with one another. And that's where they're going to have to find a way to circumvent and find that level where they know what each other's doing. Because you got to have your memes and your you calls, and you got to know, when you need to zone something versus when you need to cross buck. There's so much that goes into it, but that's where you got to communicate. And if you don't know, ask the coach.
Okay. All right.
Don't. And see that this goes back to I have an adage of once you get past the stars, they become ambassadors. They're no more the 5-star, 3-star, 4-star. They're just an ambassador. And I understand the prerequisite, you chose us and we also chose you. So we need you to own up. And now you are getting paid a said income amount on top of your actual scholarship.
Right.
So if that's the case, then I need you to become an ambassador. I need you to be able to handle studying without being told. I need you to be on top of your stuff. If we make an adjustment, I need you to be so in tune that, hey, coach, remember we talked about this, da. Yeah, okay, then I got the call, you guys, if anybody needs help. That's where they need to get to. Because right now, everybody's on the same level, but the more that offensive line can gel, the better off they are. But once again, they're just now coming together, so they're behind the clock. Mm-hmm. But if anybody can get it done, is Andre Garrard.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you. So, hey, you gonna hang around for a bit, right? Because we just was about to get into this Brendan Shores.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm here.
This Brendan Shoresby thing. Hold up, wrong clip, y'all. Wrong clip. Yeah, so the CFL won't even take him, right? The CFL won't even take your boy Brendan Shoresby right now, which is crazy. Let me get it pulled up here so everybody can see it on the screen with me, because y'all can see the thing. But the story, and I quote, I'll read a little bit of it. I'm gonna probably read most, but let me see if I get there. Let me get there. Okay, so if former Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Shoresby is hoping to play football in 2026, he is quickly running out of options. The Canadian Football League announced Friday that it would not allow teams to sign Shoresby due to the serious and concerning allegations surrounding the quarterback. The league said in a statement the CFL did not go into specific details about these allegations, but did confirm it would not register a contract for Shoresby per USA Today. The league's full statement read, upholding the integrity of the league and ensuring fair competition are paramount to the CFL. The allegations involving Brendan Shoresby are serious and concerning. At this time, the CFL will not register a contract for him, and no team will be permitted to add him to its negotiation list. And I quote, that's what it read. So Bishop, you just came in. I'll let you go first, and then DP, let me tell me what you feel. What's up?
Check this out, you guys. Let me explain a little something. Because see, you got to remember, yeah, you told on yourself, but this is your third school, and you knew from the first school, so you had ample opportunity. So what it did is chipped away at your character. On top of that, now you're telling me you went 30 days to Gambling Anonymous, and now all of a sudden it's shut down. And a entity that's a professional is gonna bring you in and trust that you're gonna be able to lick it. Come on now, hey. The truth of the matter, what they're trying to tell him, he needs to really, you need to get into one of these ones like 90 days or 6 months. You need to really understand this is nothing to fool with, because understand you really hurt the shield of the NCAA on what you did.
Yeah.
Because ask yourself, and everybody in the chat, check this out. What happened when you check with another person to circumvent the system that the NCAA was against betting, but yet you went outside the system? Why? Because you knew it was against the rules, right?
Yeah.
So right there, that's a red flag. Okay, and you kept doing it. Okay, you said you had an addiction. I get it, but was it wrong all these years when other people were banned from baseball and other sports for doing the same thing? But all of a sudden now, in this genre, is able to be overlooked or adjudged to see that, well, if he don't play, is a detriment to his health.
Right.
Ask yourself, is it a detriment, or does he need to finish paying off something? Wink, wink.
Yeah, for sure he do. For sure he got to. He got to. DP, what you thinking on it, DP?
Sure, what I say, it seemed like he don't got marked, man, by the big dogs, the elites and the owners, man, and it's looking bad for him for the simple fact, because now it's looking like the organization or a league gonna be scared to touch him. You feel me? Because the NFL, they don't make arrangements so you can't go in the supplemental draft. Then the CFL just outright say, "Oh nah, dog, we ain't going for that." You feel me? It's like now teams are scared to pay you because they don't want to be he threw the game situation. And then too, you got to think, man, most NFL owners period, are looking for reasons not to give you these millions of dollars. You are an investment, and I don't want to invest millions in you.
Right.
You're gonna go out here and gamble the money now. Oh, you in trouble. You're not playing on the field, and I need you playing on the field. So yeah, he really hurt himself with doing this situation. I wish he would have learned his lesson when he went from Indiana to Cincinnati. But I heard he was placing bets when he was at Cincinnati also. I don't even know how true that is, but I heard that too. So
he was doing it. He was doing it.
Can I share something with you, my brother?
Absolutely.
That man was betting on pitches. How many pitches in a game?
Man, I told man he was betting. Man, that man was out there betting on Taco Bell. He was betting on how many tacos you could scarf down.
Hey, no, you know that Nathan's hot dog eating contest. He was betting on that. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? And there's been whole programs. There's been whole programs who have been taken for something less from receiving gifts. Like, you remember they threw the death penalty on SMU, right? They took that whole program away out of college football.
Just 2 years ago, Butte from LSU, they got caught gambling. They hung him out of, I don't want to say the
right. Yeah. Rich John.
Hey. Name somebody else. Who else been banned because of money? Chris Webber. Go ahead. Bounce off me. Go ahead. Your turn.
Pete Rose.
Okay, come on, DP. Your turn.
Reggie, they tried to take away Reggie Bush Heisman because he got a house?
What? Terrell Pryor. Got him.
Yep. Man, dude.
And you think you just about to just go ahead and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, be able to break the rules and go into a 30-day place where they teach you how to do things better and all that. Come on, bro. And then it's like, I didn't get my way with the NCAA, so maybe I'll get my way with the NFL. But, maybe I'll get my way with the NFL. No, the NFL said no, and the CFL said no. So, I don't know. The question I have for y'all.
Tech, dog.
Huh?
I say the Big 12 put that pressure on Texas Tech, boy.
For sure.
They thought they were going to get away with murder on camera.
For sure.
Oh, man, excuse me.
Yeah, but hey, Kinfolk, check this out. Now, y'all know good and well, hey, teams were about to say, we forfeit. Now, you know that cuts off your bottom line. That means TV revenue. Oh, no, you ain't messing with TV revenue. Yeah, they had to come back at them.
They had to. You're right.
Yeah.
And then you think so. And the question I have for y'all: do y'all think the UFL is going to take the chance on them, seeing that they're just now getting a steady flux of an audience, that more people starting to talking about them, and the way that this league is slowly climbing up that ladder, and the trajectory is looking in a positive manner for the UFL? Do you think they'll take a chance on Sorsby, or do you just let them go by the wayside?
Here's what I it's real dicey, but I would put a deal if he's willing to agree to go back to Gamma Anonymous and really not no 30-day, but really get after it. And then if he's willing to meet some certain standards, then I'll bring him in. But he's got to show us that you're willing to do the work. You can't just do it for a short stint. I need to make sure that if I bring you in, understand we are building. We're building momentum. If I bring you in, I need to make sure it's about the game of what you bring to the game, not what you do outside of it.
Right. Facts. Ooh, I like that, Bishop. Yeah, that's facts. I like that. So what you think about it, D? What you think about it, D? Do you think that UFL should take a chance on him with the way that the league been looking and everything? You think they should go after Sorsby?
To say it about the UFL, right? I'm gonna go ahead and say this for a fact. 2026, he's not playing football for no one. So he's lucky the UFL do start in 2027. But that if they want that kind of, spotlight on them. Because you feel me, you're trying to build your image. You're probably trying to build some kind of partnership with the NFL just to kind of have some minor league officially. So I don't know, you feel me? I feel like they will see if an arena football team or something like that take a chance on them, and then like, okay, maybe. But I don't know who's gonna take that, that first jumper, man. Who's gonna take that shot first? You feel me? I don't know. It's gonna be whatever league that decide to take that opportunity first. They might get a lot of criticism and feedback, and I don't know if they want that specifically. Right. So we don't know for sure.
Right.
What do you think, Truckin?
I think the UFL. Me personally, in my opinion, I don't know if the UFL goes. I like what you said about it, Bishop, and looking at it from all angles and everything. But I don't know. I would have to piggyback a little bit off of what you said earlier about him actually showing that he wants to improve himself, that he actually went through a program. I think what he needs to do now is, at this moment, he needs to go enroll in a facility right now the rest of this year if he plans on having a shot at going into the UFL. Go into something right now, finish off the rest of the year in there. Or however long go, like you said, at least try to get to 6 months. It's summertime. You give up a little bit of your summer. I think if he goes in right now, we're in month 6. So you know what I mean? You'll go do a little 4 or 5 month program. You'll be out before Christmas, before New Year's. You still be able to work on your craft, and maybe they give him a little bit of leeway with that. And you go into the UFL, but I don't know if I'm the UFL. I'm very optimistic. I'm not even trying to take a chance unless he goes and does something like that, because of the trajectory that the UFL has been going on. The game has been getting more popular and popular every year that it has been here, and I think this year was kind of a breakthrough year for the UFL. You hear a lot of more chatter going on about it, a lot more content creators being enthusiastic about the game that's going on with the UFL, the teams and the players that you're seeing out there. And I don't think that you want to mix that up with what they got going on, especially them bringing out a new product. I can't tie myself to something like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not allowing that now. So if he does not go, so my answer in long, short, and be given a lot, you know what I'm saying, not so long-winded here, is just, I don't think they take a chance unless he shows that he's rehabilitating himself. No, I wouldn't do it if I'm the
I got 2 things for him. Delete all gambling apps off your phone and move to a state where gambling illegal.
Facts. Listen, facts,
man.
Facts.
Hey, that's spitting fire right there. I see you, D. I see you.
Facts. Like, don't go. Yeah, you got to stay right where you at, partner. Like just go somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just give him your phone. Just give him your phone.
But that's what we're saying is that you really got to be able to change the narrative by doing some serious work. It can't be a short stint. You got to go find out exactly what system you can go in, and you got to show them that, hey, I'm willing to work on myself. This is what plan I came up with on how to make sure I don't fall back into my old ways. See, the thing is right now your credibility is shot. Mm-hmm. And I know you say you have an addiction, but then treat the addiction for real, bro. Mm-hmm. Don't rush back into the system. Make sure you're together, because understand, once again, it's a business, and they want the right soaring speed. They don't want the one that's that they have to fight tooth and nail and be looking over their shoulder and waiting on the next shoe to drop. You got to show that, look, I've grown up. I realized that what I did really tarnished the shield of the NCAA, and I'm truly sorry. And this is what steps I've taken to bring everybody into the fold to help you understand. This is the steps I've taken, and if any organization needs to take further steps, I'm cool with that. But whatever it is, I just want a shot. But that's what it got to do. You know what? Look, the ski.
What y'all say, Bishop? What y'all say? You a DP out there? So you said it in a very nice way. I love the way that you said it, Bishop. Where you pretty much just said, like, hold up, don't be popping up here with no 30-day chip for $90,000 worth of gambling you did. We need a 6-month chip, huh, DP? We need a 5-month chip. You know what I'm saying? We need the I graduated Gamblers Anonymous certificate from you, sir. We need that. You know what I'm
And
saying?
like brother D said, delete all apps. I need to see your phone. You need to devise hey, I'll be willing for you to have a deal where you can link into my phone and check and see if I'm doing any. He's got to understand. He's got to get uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Because if he truly wants to go and be a pro, and it can be done, but he's going to have to do the work. Mm-hmm. And that ain't going to be real quick, because nobody can change their image overnight. You're going to have to put in the work, but it can be done. But you got to attack it, and you got to be honest, open and honest, and realize that you think about it. You circumvented a system when everybody else was getting caught. They were getting life banned, and they was getting, there was no more playing the game for them. So if that's the case, hey, all of a sudden you get to, you did, come on, fellas, 3 universities. It would have been the 3rd university. And now all of a sudden he wants to talk. Come on, man. Right. Come on. Once you, and I understand why he came out himself. I felt like that was the best solution for him to win a litigation, if it ever went to court, was that he told on himself, and it left out the institution, university. But still, yet, my question to him is, why now? Right.
Fact.
He was gonna get off.
He did think he was about to get off, but this the kind of phone that he need. This what DP said he needed jitterbug. He said he needed jitterbug. Hold up. Do he need that one? Do he need the jitterbug, or do he just need the old school Big Brother Joe? Like, I don't know. This might be too advanced for him. This might not. He can't have the old school. No, he just need a Nokia, huh?
Shoot. I don't know. All I know is he don't need internet. He done enough. He done enough. I think he got enough in. So, but I know we're making light of it now. But really think about it. If he truly wants to become a professional, you got to understand first and foremost how you made the actual shield of the NCAA look. Because it's not like, I understand it. And another thing, when I've shared this before, I explain to people, understand, in order to get into the NCAA, you have to go through the NCAA clearinghouse, which is connected to the FBI. How did you circumvent that?
How? So if they connected through all of that, and they knew all of that, Cincinnati had to know something that was going on.
You think?
All right, I'm jumping on to the next one, because we all know great transition, because we all know that the 5-year rule has been set. The NCAA votes to approve the age-based 5-year eligibility rule, reshaping college football and the basketball landscapes. Right, the reader, I got to give credit to the writer, Shehan George. I'll give credit to him. Right, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Right. The NCAA voted one of its most significant eligibility changes ever on Tuesday. Under the new rules, players will be granted 5 years of eligibility to be completed within 5 years of high school graduation or an athlete's 19th birthday, whichever comes first. There will be limited exceptions for factors like religious missions, maternity leave, and military service. In effect, the new rule eliminates red shirts across college sports. Under the new previous system, athletes had 5 years to compete over 4 years. There would not be further waivers for injury or other innuating circumstances. Okay, the change was one of the many proposed by President Donald Trump in an executive order issued on April 7th. All right. So what are y'all thinking about this new NCAA 5-year rule. I mean, we talked about a little bit on DP show yesterday. But what you thinking about that though, DP? What you thinking?
I say, shoot, I'm indifferent because like football, I don't like it, but basketball, college basketball, I love it. So the reason I love it for as college basketball, because there shouldn't be no reason why a guy go overseas and then come back and play college basketball after he don't play pro overseas. You feel me? Back in the day when we were growing up, you either going to college or you going overseas. You ain't gonna be able to do both. It's either or. Like prime example, Brandon Jennings. He skipped Oak Hill. He was supposed to go to Arizona, but instead he went overseas to play professionally. He couldn't, so he canceled out. You feel me? His amateur, he became an amateur, basically, whatever they call it from back in the day. So he wasn't able to play college basketball because he chose to go overseas. But out of nowhere, we got 26, 27, 25-year-olds in college basketball. That don't even make sense. But the football side of it, oh man, it's a lot, man. As far as the 5 years to play 5 seasons situation, because guys get hurt. I don't like the no red shirt rule because I feel like a lot of 3 stars and you feel me, low rated guys, they need that extra year to get their bodies right to compete on a competitive college football level. So yeah, I'm indifferent about the rule, man. And then I see BYU, they good. You feel me? They a Mormon school, so official religious mission. You feel me? They all right in pregnancy and military service. You feel me? I guess they got eliminated. Okay, I guess they okay. You feel me? As far as this rule, but besides that, everybody else, it might hurt them. You feel me?
That's a fact. But what you think of Bishop? What you like about it? Do you like this rule? You stand with it, or are you against it in a way?
Hey, you know what? I like it for one thing. If this will get rid of where people will start developing, these coaches will be held accountable to develop the youth, then I'm all for it. But see, the problem is up until now, the coaches were slow to change. Some of them were slow to change to understand that all of a sudden you had to develop deeper and wider. You can't just go with 11 or 22. You had to go 33 to 44 because in a lot of these conferences, i.e. Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference, the parity in today's game, along with the NIL and the portal, a lot of the teams that used to be, i.e. Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Kentucky, are not those type of teams anymore. They want their pound of flesh. And so what it does is it garners where you got to go through a gauntlet. And if you got to go through a gauntlet, you got to develop deep. And a lot of these coaches are just waking up to having to develop deep. What you say, D?
I do feel like it's gonna force the main. I'm gonna say this. I feel like this 5 years to play 5 season rule is gonna force a lot of young man to think about transferring so early. Because they also got a transfer rule in there where you got 1 free transfer, then the next year you feel me, you gotta sit out a year. And you only got 5 seasons to play football. So if you try to do a second transfer, you got to think about how many years I got left to play football. There ain't no guarantee you go to the other school and you're going to be able to play there. So now you got to think about, am I going to stick it out and try to compete for playing time at this school I'm at, or I'm going to take the chance to transfer and still be in the same situation I was at the prior school I just left. So it's going to give a lot of the players a lot more to think about, but it's going to help a lot of these bigger schools once again stack that talent they had in the BCS era.
Right. Gotcha.
I feel like I was conflicted on this. I'm really conflicted on this way, right? Because
gotcha.
Because it goes both ways. Like it goes like there's teams like I just talked about yesterday. There's teams that's gonna benefit from this, and there's teams that's not gonna, and that's not gonna benefit. And I feel like you're targeting with some of these they're just taking stuff and seeing what's going to stick right now at this point. Let me put this in. Let me try to put this provision in there. Let me put this provision in there. Let me put this provision in there. And I don't think all of that's going to work, right? Because there's been a system that has worked, right? And I think they're trying to get back to the old system and they're trying to put a handle on the pay for play error that's going on and trying to make it more NIL based. But then with this 5-year rule, I think what really, I don't know if football was really affected by the 5-year rule as much as basketball was, right? Basketball, right. I think college basketball on the men's side, they said the 5-year rule, and that's where I think where that really came in from. I think and football is taking the brunt of damage that what college basketball was allowing, right? Because you're actually allowing guys to go overseas to play pro ball or be in a pro system for years and then just jump into college basketball. Now, granted, I get it. They don't have universities that's able to compete internationally over there in France or whatever. Like they don't have college ball like how we do set up over here, or we don't play internationally in college, right? So the system they have is pro over there. But when you pro over there in the system and then you go into college basketball and you got teams that haven't had success automatically just coming up and having success because they got 2 and 3 pro basketball players on their college basketball program. And that's where the success becomes from, because I don't think that, this has been a big deal of older players playing in college football. And the most ring that I've heard about it, to be honest, was when Indiana had their team, their football players. And to be honest, it's kind of a slippery slope when you get to talking about Indiana, because like I was talking about earlier a little bit, they were ranked 14th out of 16 in the Big Ten, even with those older players. And then nobody, and I bring this up a lot, that nobody really paid attention to the fact that UConn's quarterback had almost 8 years of experience, and nobody cared about it because UConn wasn't going to do anything last year, right? So, Joe Fernando, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all can fact check me on this, but I know for a fact he had like 7 years of college football underneath his belt, but nobody cared because UConn wasn't a successful team, right? And there's a lot of older players in college football that weren't successful, but I think football is taking the brunt with this particular rule. They're taking the brunt of what college basketball was allowing. It's been more success in college basketball than college football. And I do like this though, because I do like this rule because it focuses more on the development of a young player. And they get to really lock in, because at this age, they looking at that money, they looking at that bag, they taking these schools and they, putting these schools against each other. They're using, I want to use Bishop's University against DP's Tech, because, DP Tech want to pay me this, but I'm telling him Bishop's University want to give me that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you're young, you looking at all that money, you're really not looking at things like your future after football or your development. So I kind of like it there, but like I said, I kind of don't like it because of, I don't think this was a football problem. I think this was more of a college basketball problem that was leaked over into football, if you will. So that's just how I look at it. I know it's complex and I know it's a lot, but that's just how I feel on it.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? That's just how I feel on it. So moving on, I talked about the age-based thing, and I know we talked about the clock. But we about to get on up out of here. But they are trying to tweak the college football calendar also. I know that, and I think I don't know this to be a fact, but I think this has to do with the what is it? I know I was about to say it. I had it.
College football playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. There you go, DP. The college football playoff. I know a lot of this had to do with the college football playoff. Because I think the realignment, and they also talking about they're stopping the realignment and it's put a shot clock on it. So I have to read a little bit of that for y'all just to give y'all a little bit of information on that. In Washington, in many ways, college athletics have been embryonic of the American society. In American society, no individual can escape the mouthwatering desire of promotion. The salesperson dreams of being the CEO. The store clerk becomes manager, blah, blah. Shift supervisor hopes one day be a company. In college athletics, university exists in a state of perpetual ambition to leave their own neighborhood for more luxurious gated community down the street, where the pool of bigger brands increase the property value. You know that it is as conference realignment, but really it is the art of increasing one's value by closing association with more premium properties for existed. Texas moved up in the same neighborhood as Alabama and Georgia, and USC is now sharing a street with Ohio State and Michigan. Conference realignment is a consistent of concept, right? Within college athletics, as football coaching changes so prevalent over the last decade or more, a sort of a motto has emerged. Conference realignment never sleeps. Those in the industry often say that.
Right.
However, according to the congressional bill that's on the doorstep of a vote here in the U.S. Senate, conference realignment will get some deep rest. In fact, the College Sports Protect Act kills realignment at the major conference level if it becomes law. In Section 205 of the latest revised copy of the 116-page legislation, conferences earning at least $700 million in revenue are prohibited from merging with one another or acquiring new members. This means the SEC, Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12 will no longer be able to add membership. What do y'all think about this?
Shoot, I say my little one too. I gotta get up out of here.
No doubt, no doubt.
But shoot, man, what I say, no, honestly, it really hurt the group of 5 schools that get to a point or get to a level where they compete at a P4 level. You feel me? Like, I know Memphis, they want to get to a P4 level, and I think it's some in USF, they want to get to a P4 level. So you pass this, you basically close the door on schools like that want to, go up in competition.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's good. That's a good point to look at that, D. Look, we were so focused on the Super League, the Big Ten, and the SEC merging that we was actually overlooking that these smaller schools that's getting better and want to raise up in competition and move up a level. We didn't think about that. That's a good way of looking at things. I ain't really never looked at it. I haven't looked at it like that from that point of view. But you know what I'm saying? I would say that, yeah, that it stops that. But I think when they're saying something like this, I think it's targeting the SEC and Big Ten from being able to take any more Big 12 or ACC teams into their conference because of them. And the reason, and I think that there's only a handful of teams that's left to actually close the door and actually monopolize on college football. And I want y'all to push back on this. I think that I think Virginia Tech's in the play on this. I think that Clemson's in the play on this. And I also think Miami's in the play for the ACC. You take those 3 particular teams, right? And I know Florida State has a brand, but they haven't been playing well. But that still is a big brand over there, right? Like, can't overlook that, right? But if you close the door on those 4 brands there, and you get those 4 brands in the Big Ten or the SEC, I think where does the ACC move from there? You know what I'm saying?
It forced them to try to get better. That's all that do. It forced you to get better. It forced you to get better coaches. It forced you to recruit better, and try to be at an elite level.
Right.
Because a lot of those schools, I feel like they have a brand in the ACC. I just feel like the ACC fell off on coaching, and then they took that bad media rights deal back a couple of years ago when they signed a 10 or 15-year deal where they stuck in the ACC no matter what. And now this good thing passed, you definitely gonna be stuck in the ACC no matter what.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and slide, man. I got a meal that's waiting on me. You feel me?
Yeah, go ahead. Let the people know where to find you at before you bounce off out of here. Let the people know where to find you at, Dave, before you
y'all come show me love at Daryl Page Talking Sport with DP, man. Appreciate you for having me on, Chubb.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Thank you for coming,
Bishop, man.
Salute, man. Nice to see.
God bless y'all, brothers, man. And God bless the chat, man.
God bless you too, man. God bless you too. All right,
yes,
D.
sir.
I'll go tap in with D. But what you thinking on that, Bishop? What you think, man? What's up? How you feeling about that? This
Man,
conference
I
realignment
listen.
thing.
It sounds good on paper, but it don't have a lot of teeth. For the simple fact is, have you even communicated with the commissioners of those said entities? And not only that, is like this is. Here's what I will say.
Mm-hmm.
It's already been set in motion, and you already know the format. But are you willing to cater to them? Them said for conferences to make sure that understand they've been carrying the NCAA. So it has to be some give and take. And so I see what they're really trying to do. They don't want somebody to break out of the NCAA. But once again, let's start fixing on some of these things that you missed on NCAA and you put into play because you were forced to, not that you made the decision to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to take to court, to the Supreme Court, and then found out you had a monopoly. We knew that. Everybody knew that. But you're talking to billions of dollars. Now the buck stopped. Now you want to do this. You have to accommodate said conferences because they are the staple of your NCAA. So if there's not recompense for them, then you're just spitting rhetoric. You're not putting any teeth to it. And not only that, where is the voice of the student athletes in there?
Yeah, like what, like I feel you on that, right? Where is the voice of the student athletes, right? Because the students, they bring in the revenue too, right? Without players, you ain't getting revenue, you ain't getting butts in the seats, you ain't getting some of these deals and all of that, right? There's nothing to coach without the players, right? So I feel you on that. The thing is I think with this conference realignment, and my question is like, what's stopping these teams from keeping every other sport within the conference that they're in, but taking their football program and going independent the way that Notre Dame did? What's stopping them from doing that?
And see, that's another thing in play that nobody is talking about. But see, once again, this is all, if you think about what you said, this is all a ploy because a lot of people were starting to hear behind the scenes in the streets that there were some talks of breaking off from the NCAA.
Right.
But understand, only reason is that because they want to make sure they maximize their TV revenue.
Right.
And when you have an entity and from now top to bottom, your teams have more parity and each team at any given week can take another team, man, that's must-see TV.
Right.
Because that's what everybody wants to see. They want to see someone that's an underdog that finds a way one week to come through in a pinch when everybody was down them. That's the American dream. So I just think that it got good bones, but it don't have enough framework.
Right. There ain't enough framework that's within this system, right? And I get where you going with that. Like in yesterday, right? The pushback of what I was saying about that in Notre Dame, what I received pushback was on because Notre Dame already has an NBC deal. Well, there's other players that's out there right now that is willing to give and get in part with this multi-billion-dollar industry of college football, right? Yeah. Like there's other TV services. There's a lot of TV apps to go through. Like when I named Peacock, right? Peacock is one. I named Amazon Prime, Netflix. Like they're all waiting for an opportunity to bounce on one of these teams to get their deals for their games, right? Because and the thing is like, well, it has to be a big time program, and I'm like, I don't know if it has to be a big time program, like a huge big time program. The program that I used, for example, was like an Iowa, right? A constant. You just need a consistent 8-9 win team, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? That has a strong fan base. I think Pitt will work in this. You know what I'm saying? Like they're known for getting 8 games a year. You know what I'm saying?
Check this out. SMU.
Right. That's another one, right? You know what I mean? Like, and that they're waiting. So there's other TV brands that's waiting to pounce on an opportunity besides just Fox or, Peacock or whoever, right? There's other TV deals that you can get moving on an independent level. But I don't understand, like, where Senator Maria Cantwell and Senator Ted Cruz are actually trying to move with trying to bring this in and do this. I get it. They feel like the Big Ten and SEC are leveraging their schedules against the other conferences because, like, okay, they have the competition right now. It means something to play a Big Ten and an SEC team. You can't, like, you got to at least have one of those bottom tier teams on your resume in order to even be a college football playoff contender. I mean, once again, Notre Dame's the example. I'll go and play Arkansas and Purdue, and then I'll go and play Miami and a BYU. And out of those 4 games, if I go 2-2 and I win the rest of my games, I have an automatically playoff bid right there with my college football team. The deals is coming. Now I'm in there. And if they move this up to 16 teams, it's going to be easier to get a 10-2 schedule if I'm an independent like Notre Dame and I could build my own schedule. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they really thought that through, because that's another thing. Like, okay, now you want to tell me about my football program and hold me back, and they want to try to put a hard cap on it. They're also trying to put a hard cap, Bishop, and it's like, wow, I'd rather just go independent with my club. Like, I think we talked about this before, Bishop, on a different panel. We actually talked about, like, taking a football club and just going independent with it. I'll just, make my football club, keep all my other sports in the conference. We going independent. And I don't need that conference for football, because guess what? That's one of the biggest revenue deals that's out there. Because I think what they're looking at is the fact that other sports are that schools are going into debt, but they're saying that when you target in football and basketball, we all know that football and basketball are driving in the most revenue in a lot of these universities. Now, granted, some of them have awesome softball programs, awesome Olympic sport programs, awesome baseball programs, awesome hockey programs, but when it's all said and done, the sports that bring in the most revenue and get the best TV deals are basketball and football, right? So,
but check this out. But see, I'm so glad you mentioned Olympics and whatnot. And see, here's where, we want to make sure we got the rowing team and this, that, and the third. But here's the thing about it is that the bottom line is, they're trying to attack it so that they can curtail the NIL, but the NIL is not the problem. It's the portal, because it's a higher gun scenario. Because once you get in there, if you have put in work where you were at, that now you go to the highest bidder. That ain't that capitalism. That's what they have set forth. Now, you can't have a problem if now everybody is getting to utilize that same system, because it ain't no fun when the rabbit has a gun.
That's a fact.
But now all of a sudden, here's the caveat. See, everybody likes to focus on the quarterbacks, wide receivers, the high echelon 2% of the 5 stars. Well, of course, they have put in the work what you're gonna say? They haven't put in the work, and so they're not a 5-star. They're a 5-star for a reason. And if you're gonna bid against another university, and there's 3 to 4 of you in there, the demand is gonna drive up because you're competing.
Right.
That's not every player. Every player don't get said NIL type of deals. A lot of times the average NIL, we're talking about, 375 to 400,000. So think about it. What it is I'm gonna show you this hand, but behind my back, the ultimate is I'm scared that these top end people get to take up the narrative because of the media mountain. That's what they focus on. But don't nobody say, well, what happens to that 3-star that you signed, gave a scholarship to? Well, he's not gonna warrant $1 million.
Right.
He has to earn it, right? So if he has to earn it, so then what is the crux of it? If he works and he gets in your system and he builds up and he find within 2 years he gets on the field now, but you haven't pushed him far enough or developed him far enough, that's on you. And now he goes in the portal. Now he's in high demand because he has experience. Right. And that's what we're seeing. And understand that's supply and demand. If I have a proven commodity and it's in need, then the demand goes up. That's just economics, and when you're talking that deal, really we're talking about, we're almost gonna say 1%, because everybody else is you're having to actually have general managers to manage and to fit it together like a puzzle to make everybody's NIL fit.
But what if everybody's NIL don't fit? You know what I'm saying?
That's okay. Hold on. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great caveat. Then aren't we starting to see coaches push certain players out into the portal?
Yeah, we have been seeing that. You're right. We have been seeing those coaches take players and pretty much push them towards the portal. That has been happening in recent years, most definitely.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing about it is that's great that you come together. Hey, we're not going to be able to play you like we thought we would, but whose fault is that? It's the coaches. You're the one that makes the roster spots.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that can develop these young men.
Right.
But nobody wants to say that. Nobody wants to understand. Is like the more and more that the portal and NIL team up, the more and more parity has become a thing of the X factor. And now in 2026, you will be forced by fire because there's nobody that is a clean cut, surefire. Everybody has something that they have questions about their team that they have to answer. And with that said, is the survival of the fittest. And we just saw in baseball, in NCAA baseball, a team that was 4-27 go win the World Series. Wasn't even thought of. Wasn't even think to make it. They were like almost on the bubble.
Right.
And ask yourself, they were almost on the bubble, but they found a way to gather themselves and make a run.
And that's right. Like what you said, to go back into that, like you putting all these provisions and you trying to tell somebody nobody's a surefire hit, right? And that goes for player or coach, right? I had a great conversation.
That's right.
Right, because you got it. Because the same thing goes for the coaches, and my eyes got opened the other day from a different perspective, right? Because I'm like, well, you got the problem is you have these 5-star athletes coming in and they demanding $1.5 million off of something that they did in high school and had proven themselves on the college football field yet, right? And the brother said back to me, he said, that's good, trucking, and that's everything, but doesn't that work for coaches? And I'm like,
yeah,
technically it does work for coaches, right? It technically does.
But check this out. Now, I'm going to add a little caveat, and I'm just going to throw a little Zataran in your gumbo. Check this out. Haven't we have seen in the past where 1-star, 2-star, 3-stars become stars at said universities, i.e., Chambliss, Josh Jacobs?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got a lot of. I think our star system is outgrown itself because it's only 32 to 33 5-stars. So a lot of people, all of a sudden, the narrative is, well, we're 3-star you. Wait a minute. Have you thought of this? A 3-star is just someone that hasn't had the opportunity to get into a satellite camp that costs $3,500 to go to.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. That's a fact. Those camps, those places that they ain't have a place to go into, and that's why we had this conversation earlier too. Like, I don't think that stars make everything. It's not like, I don't think that it makes up everything. I still strongly stand on that. I would rather have a team full of 3-stars, hungry individuals with a chip on their shoulder, ready to come in and compete and play the game of football, rather than, saying some of those 5-stars who've been, let's say, coddled, pampered through their way, up to the college level. Let's just call it what it is, because they have been in a lot of those satellite camps in front of a lot of players and known all around. They got the right connections, that some of the 3-star guys don't have, right? And a person might be a 3-star just basically because On 3 or 24/7 didn't make it into the inner city of Chicago to go see this kid play football but one time. You know what I'm saying? So there's a flaw to that system, right?
Yeah, and also not to knock any of these 5-stars. No, they do work. They do major work. But here's the key: is we don't have enough engines or vehicles that can circumvent. Shout out to Rep 1. Rep 1 is changing the game, but they opened my eyes up to help me realize, wait a minute, if there's only 32 5-stars and it's so many 4-stars, 3-stars, 2-stars, and 1-star, so ask yourself, why only 32?
Why not more? I don't, and I get
it.
Why is it like that?
And I get it. At the time, it served a purpose, but it's just like the adage. Remember that adage of back in the day, Grandma used to cut the ends off the ham because her pan was small. But now we got bigger pans, but yet we're still doing the cutting off the ends. Well, why are you doing that, baby? Well, my pan was small. Why you, Grandma? I'm just doing what Grandma did. Well, child, my pan was too small. That's the only way I could fit it.
All right, you got the big one now.
You got the big one. So ask yourself, sometimes you got to own up that the game has evolved.
Thank you.
And that you're in a new dispensation. And if you're in a new dispensation at NCAA, take the bull by the horns and say, you know what? There's something to this. Let's research it. You did sports medicine, and now look at sports medicine has changed how you practice. There's opportunities, but you got to seize the moment, because understand, you done made billions and billions. You can't say you don't have it at your repertoire. You don't have it on hand. So let's use it. Let's start understanding. Okay, great. Why is it that certain camps are 3,500 and other camps are 1,500 or $1,000 or 700? There's different levels to this, but here's the thing. Do we have a set vehicle or pathway that explains that if you go to said camp, you're able to be rated. We don't even have nothing in place to make sure that if they do go to said camp, that is one of the camps that is gonna start rating them. So that's why I say, if you think about it, the system it did what it did until now. Now all of a sudden, you're looking at we're having Trinidad Chambliss come from a 1-star that good and well he wasn't no 1-star. That kid is a savant when it comes to his IQ is off the charts when it comes to football IQ. So ask yourself, the only reason is because he didn't get recruited. Why is that? And we got a lot that we're just talking about. That's just one. We got plenty of others that if it wasn't a happenstance that Nicholas Saban came to Tulsa McLean, Josh Jacob wouldn't have been at Alabama.
Talk about it.
He was a 2-star, 3-star at that point. He was a 2-star on the verge of being a 3-star. But he had a 302 game that week when Saban went. 302 rushing game.
Killed it. And he went and seen that, and that changed history. Now, and thank goodness he went and did that. But the close out on everything, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and close out on everything we talked about today. Let the people know where we could find you at, Bishop.
Big salute. Hey, I am so ecstatic that Truckin is doing his thing. He's spitting his fire. He's putting the gumbo into full effect. And you can catch me at Piano Man and myself Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning. And we're just putting in work. And we got a special coming in tomorrow. You're more than welcome to come on through. To be at 6 tomorrow. It's going to have a very special guest. And we're just trying to be a platform that everybody can have a voice and that they can spit their fire. You know how we do.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I'm appreciated that you allow me. I really do, Truckin. I appreciate you allowing me to come up to spit my little fire. Because, hey, man, you've been doing your thing, man.
Thank you. Anytime, and every time you can come up here. You know that, Bishop.
I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted, though, bro. I know you've been putting in work. You've been getting it out the mud. So I just want to respect because you're coming off the stoop. And when you come off the stoop, that means you like to taste the blood. So you're ready for your moment.
All right. I heard that. Thank you. You said at 6 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right.
Piano Man. Yeah.
All right, Piano Man. All right. I'll be there. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you.
All right, man.
So closing out everything, y'all, like, you know what I'm saying, on everything that we've been through today, as far as Colorado, I'm optimistic. I feel different about Colorado. Everybody has the right to feel different, and it's a subjective thing. My record projection is subjective. Yours is subjective. I just want everybody to gain knowledge on things. Gain knowledge. Go look at what Brendan Marion's been able to do throughout his college career. We always are able to give these other coaches grace off of what they've been through because we've seen what their past work looked like, but we haven't seen what his past work looked like. And even if you have, let's go and look and see how that works out for them. With Brendan Sorsby, it's unfortunate that the young man couldn't get it together, but he's placed over $90,000 in bets. He's done it at all of his schools. He hasn't learned anything. I think he has to go through and learn through his system. As far as all this bipartisan bills and rules that they're trying to place in the college football, I just want to ask y'all this question. Like, do y'all think that this is good for college football? Do you think that this is actually going to work for college football? Where's your stance on a lot of these things? Right. I want y'all to tell me whether you watching this on a playback or whether you watching it now. You know what I'm saying? Where do y'all stand with college football in a way that it's moving in trajectory? Do you think that this 5-year rule is going to be good for the future of college football and college sports? Do you think it's going to help it? Do you think it's not going to help? You know what I mean? I would like to hear it from y'all. Make sure that y'all tap in with Piano Man Bishop. Make sure, if y'all really want to support me, I know that a lot of people don't hit the like. I know y'all, so a lot of y'all watch me on a playback. That's okay. But if you really want to support Truck Sports with Truckin Chubby, go download my podcast. I upload podcasts. I try to put them all out there, schedule them throughout the week. My episodes audio only, because sometimes you can't watch me on the tube, but you can also catch me on your podcast. I could be in your ear while you working out, while you walking down the street, while you riding in your truck, going in your car. Go support me. Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Go download my podcast. Give me a good review. I appreciate y'all doing that more than anything. And tapping in with me here on YouTube, TikTok, X, wherever else. Appreciate y'all coming through and supporting me and everything else. But it's been a grind. It's definitely been a grind out here, Bishop. It's definitely been one, man.
Oh, no doubt, no
It's
doubt,
definitely
no
been-
doubt.
It's definitely been.
But
a
you know
grind.
what? You stuck to your guns, and
Yes, sir.
and you keep doing the research, because you notice I be making sure that when I do watch it, I make sure I comment so you'll know that, hey, I'm paying attention, and I see you putting in work, you're doing research. And that's
Yes,
what if you want to be in the long game, you got to do the research, because it's too easy to go just off surface, but you'll only go so far. You got to be able to get into the depths and be able to hold conversation and realize that not everybody has the same outlook, but all of our pieces put together might come up with a brand new solution that needs to be implemented.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Y'all, man. Y'all know how I get my intro. But I always tell y'all, man, pray for yourself, pray for each other, pray for me. I'm always praying for y'all. All you gotta do is pay attention.